Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily, Monday Motivation. It's Des here. Bit unusual for me to be on at this time. Of course, as ever, I'm looking to attack the week the best I can. But I've been trying to get the video in a little earlier. Been really struggling to articulate what I want to say today. And sometimes when I'm feeling like that, and because it don't happen that often, I normally got a message I want to get out there, do it all in one take, all comes from the heart. But today, just trying that little harder to get across what I want to say. Just finding it tough, and I find it that little easier just to come on and get it done. It's an unusual time, I know. I don't expect many people to be tuning in, but things have got to be said. We've got to process what's gone before, look at where it worked, where it didn't, and push on with positivity and enthusiasm, and hopefully use some of the motivations I've created through DOdaily to stay right on top of things. At this point, I always look at the weekend. Wow, what a weekend. As you can see by the title there, We Are Premier League. Was at Wembley yesterday, enjoying Forest promotion, back to the promised land. Really enjoyed that. And I'm going to use some of my thoughts around that for Monday Motivation today. I think it's really important to explain how things went there and how it all worked for me. But as ever, I'll just explain. I don't normally talk about football, whilst it's a real passion, and I like to talk about the things we make the most of. It's not something I try and sort of get into this all the time. But over the last week or so, it's been really at the forefront of my mind. It's kind of been dominant in my mind as well. And it's led me to a point where I've learned so much about myself as well. And that might seem bizarre, and people might think, oh, for God's sake, he's going on about football again. But the reality is I learned so much over the weekend about the things I said last week, the emotions, the roller coaster I was riding. At the time, I thought it was excitement. I thought it was just sort of being a bit carried away with the whole situation. But as things have progressed, it's really sort of, it makes sense. And that's what I want to talk about. Before I go any further, I will just say, please like the episode. That way, I think it is down there. Please hit that like button. Let me know what you think at any point, comments. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I had lots of new subscribers, mainly football fans, by appearing on other YouTube channels. So I'm really grateful for those. And I'd just like to sort of explain why I do DOdaily. All I'm looking to do here is encourage people to be positive, be enthusiastic, to be happy and content, the best they can. I try and portray that through the things I do, pass on a message that there is ways we can do it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not always feeling like that, and it becomes clear on here when I'm not feeling so great. But when I'm feeling happy and I can pass on a message to try and encourage and support others, I only ever use myself as an example. And all this is a personal vlog of how I live my life, ups, downs, when it's indifferent, when it's not quite working out. And it's just an opportunity for people to look in and see how somebody else does it their way. Occasionally we all need a little perspective and somebody seeing it from a different point of view to help us get to where we need to be. And that's all I'm trying to do. But when I think back to the football yesterday, and the reason I want to keep talking about it, there will be a point when I do shut up about football and get back into the usual kind of messaging and how things have worked. As somebody who does them things I've just said, I tend to be really sort of calm and not calculated. Calculated is the wrong word because that makes it sound like it's manipulative, but sort of calm in the messaging, and my personality and my persona is quite calm and relaxed and easygoing. So whilst I talk about tough subjects which do sort of hit home and make me sort of think, and sort of can be quite scary at times, worrying about what I've said sometimes, and will people receive it properly? I tend to control my emotions pretty well. But yesterday, before the game, they all came flooding out. And I was really sort of really confused, to be honest, to start with. Throughout the game and after the game, I was even worse. That was because of the result. That was the immense pride in the team and the manager as well. Somebody I'm really, really inspired by, not just for his tactics, for the fact he's turned Forest around, by the way he conducts himself, by the way people are inspired by him. Listening to people talk about him, listening to him sort of speak as well, and doing something like this. I can kind of relate to it. Don't get me wrong, that guy's a professional. He's absolutely brilliant at what he does. But I'm always looking at people. And trying to sort of figure things out. It's just the way I am, sort of people watcher, kind of thought-provoking things like that. But of course, I would have that immense pride, and some of that emotion might come out. But it doesn't normally at football. As much as I love it, as much as I get excited by it, as much as it upsets me at times. Upsets is wrong, because that's showing it again. As much as it gets me down, I guess, and makes me a bit sad, I don't normally sort of pour out like I did yesterday. And I really sort of was pouring out. And I'm not ashamed to say it. At first, it was kind of like, what's happening? Why am I like this? Why am I confused? But the real lesson I learned in all this, and I think what kind of hit home subconsciously by talking about things a lot last week, really wanted Kay to be with me yesterday, my partner, who of course I'm getting married to later this year. And there was a bit of stress around tickets, and I was just thinking a bit, the stress was to do with the excitement and sort of getting a bit too carried away with things, and I was trying to sort of check in daily to see where I was at and pull myself around. It wasn't as if I was out of control or couldn't think properly, and the messaging I was putting across last week was ingenuine. It definitely was genuine. It's where I believed I was at. But because of that ticket situation and because of the stress, I really realised before the game that it was so important to have people I wanted to be with me. The one thing I've found in the last few years is a little bit of consistency. And of course, in the year I'm getting married, I'm extremely happy and content. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Everything right now seems like a big occasion, seems momentous. It seems like it's almost a perfect storm. Everything's happening at the right time. And again, Forest getting promoted in the year I get married. They actually got relegated in 1999, and this is the lesson I've learned. As an adult, I've always been very inconsistent for one reason or another. Relationships, jobs, all sorts of things haven't worked out. And at times I've said to myself, I've had a unhappy adult life, to the point where I found running and trying to inspire people and motivating people. Till that point a few years ago, I thought I'd had a really difficult time, and at times I had. But don't get me wrong, it was no difficult more than it was no worse than anybody else. I also had lots of good times. I've lived lots of great experiences, whether it be football, of course, the ups and downs of that, or whether it be holidays or relationships even. I've had lots of highs, but I just couldn't find that consistency, and all of a sudden I found it. But all that kind of coincides with Forest got relegated, and then the time where I'm having the best time of my life. I'm enjoying everything. I'm prepared to sort of give the rest of my life to a person, and then Forest get promoted. And I think yesterday, as much as I had a real sense of pride in the football and in Steve Cooper, the manager, and in everything that was going on there, just being at such an occasion where people had waited so long, it almost sort of rang a bell with me that I've been waiting so long for this period in my life. And again, I'm not ashamed to say these things. It was raw, it was really raw. People around me probably didn't understand it. I know none none of them had seen that before, because I'd not seen that side of me before. I'd not sort of let out that emotion in the way I did, and it all sort of come flooding out. And afterwards, it kind of felt great. It felt like I was just being me. The chance to almost let the burden of the last 23 years, not the football side, the life side, the things that had gone before me. Of course, the football, the relegation and the promotion and the timescale kind of coincides with my adult life. That and time sometimes can be a great reminder, or occasions, big occasions, things you remember, can be a great reminder of where you was at and what you was doing. And like I say, that almost sort of hit me subconsciously. But then when I realised, it was like a massive weight off my shoulders. I've been saying recently how happy and content and sort of willing to go forward with things, take things forward, take the extra step, of course, with Kay, and feeling sort of fantastic about that. So excited, loving life, living my best life, even. And I don't say that with any arrogance or sort of ignorance to whatever's other people are going through. All I'm trying to do is be the best I can be. I try and do my activity. Don't always work. I still have my ups and downs. Last week was the example of that. But like I say, those situations that I thought was arising because I was thinking of others, I wanted others there, I wanted Kay around me. And at the time, I was thinking purely of her and friends and people I wanted, really sort of, in reality, it was because I wanted this perfect storm on the day. I wanted to feel like I'd come full circle, just like the team, come full circle. And again, when you're experiencing it, when you feel you're in something and with people, and football's great for that. Football's absolutely amazing for being part of something. And a lot of the time people go, oh, football, boring, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is when you can feel like you're part of a crowd, part of a community, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's absolutely brilliant. And getting back to the Premier League, for me, getting to a point in my life where it's almost like pushing everything aside and reaching that peak, and then taking it from there. All Forest can do when they get promoted is take on, give it a go, whatever's next. I'm always saying that we have to give a go we have to make the most, and that's all I can do. None of us know what's going to happen next. None of us know how life's going to pan out. But what I found, just like Forest, is so much consistency. My activity gives me that. DOdaily, talking outwardly. Like I say, it's really uncomfortable. But, getting it off my chest, processing it, talking to people, interacting with people, is absolutely amazing. Hopefully, I've passed on some sort of message there. Like I say, the reason I came on live, even at this late hour, was just to say it as it is, just trying to be real. It's all very, very raw right now. I'm finding myself, probably because of the pending marriage, as much as I play it down to people around me, I'm finding myself really emotionally charged. And I was really like that last week. Again, with the thought of this big occasion, is it really that, or is it what's coming next? Whatever it is, just gotta be positive about it. Look forward to it. Be excited by it. Was excited for Wembley. Excited for what comes next. Excited for the Premier League. You can worry too much about these things and get too nervous and down. People kept saying to me, "Why are you nervous? Why are you nervous?" I wasn't nervous at all. It was that emotion. I wanted it so badly. These things I've wanted in life so badly. Of course, the football, as a football fan, you always want the best. But I've wanted things to get to a point where they're at now. And I can sit back now, be proud of how far things have come and really, really enjoy it, And thankfully, I get to enjoy it with my team in the Premier League. I just thought it was a great way of relating things in today, using it as a bit of motivation to show that sometimes, consistency is key, isn't it? if you work really, really hard, if you keep going, never give up. Because in reality, that's what Forest have done. You know, they've not always got it right. There's been reasons for that. But that's life, isn't it? There's reasons why we have a setbacks. There's reasons why we don't get it spot on every time. There's reasons, well, basically when we succeed is because there's several failures before, isn't it? And I wouldn't like to call myself a failure or anybody a failure at that matter. But you know, it didn't work the way I wanted it to until I started doing positive things, created a better sort of future for myself by looking out for myself, looking out for others, paying it forward, doing all the usual things, you know, and now it just seems to have clicked. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. Hopefully this has not scared anybody away. If you are new to the channel, you know, it's highly inoffensive. I might not get it right all the time. I might not even say the right thing. It might not even make sense. But all I'm doing is talking from here, you know, talking from here, passing on these messages and helping people really understand what I'm trying to do. Just want to encourage people to have a good time. You know, like I say, bits of activity here and there get the endorphins flowing. Can't hurt anybody, can it? I use the daily motivations to encourage that side of it. Of course, I talk about mental health. I do vlogs. If you've liked it, again, please give it a thumbs up. It'd be absolutely amazing. Today could have been a video out by the river, walking along in the sunshine, but with the city ground behind me, trying to make it a nice production, nice quality, and all this and that. But that's not DOdaily, is it? You know, you get what you see, and that's all it is. I'm just trying to be honest, relatable, and realistic. Thanks for watching, guys. Apologies it's so late. Try and get back to normal tomorrow. Really, really tired. I'll just say, been celebrating a bit today. But if I couldn't do it today, after all that came out yesterday, you know, there'd be no point, would there? Really, really pleased, happy, content still. Keep pushing on, guys. Brand new week gives us all a chance. Celebrate what you've got to celebrate and look forward to what's next. For me, that's Tuesday training. Just doing it.